So this is where the rubber meets the road and it starts to get real. I have just officially shared my new website, theawakenedbusiness.com, and started to promote a Facebook page and really started to share these videos in earnest. And I can tell you that this is, I'm more nervous about this than I think anything that I've done thus far. And I'm asking myself, why is that? I think it's because I'm sharing things about myself that I haven't shared publicly before, beliefs that I have, things that I've kept hidden. And I have no idea what anyone's going to think about it. And I'm doing it anyway. I'm just doing it. That's it. I have no idea where it leads. I have no idea what's going to come of it. When I get to the end of this 100 Conversations challenge, what will I have learned? I don't know. I really don't. What will I have accomplished? Maybe nothing, other than having spoken to 100 people. I kind of think that's not true. Another thing that I want to share with you is that this isn't the only transformational journey that I'm on right now in the course of these 100 conversations. I have a habit of challenging myself to different activities, courses, practices on a regular basis. For about the last 4 or 5 years, I have started doing 40-day practices, particularly in Kundalini Yoga. 40 days that's where I learned to start these 40-day practices. It is considered a period of time that helps you make a new habit. And just doing anything for 40 days with an intention is a very powerful experience. So while I'm doing these 100 conversations, which is a practice in itself, I'm also doing a new practice. I just finished A Course in Miracles a couple months ago, which was amazing. And so the new practice I'm doing, I'll share this with you. It's called the presence process. And I came across this rather randomly at the recommendation of a friend and sat on it for several months before I started it. And it is a 10-week course that's all about integrating your unprocessed emotions from childhood. Ooh, doesn't that sound like fun? Well, strangely enough, that is my idea of a good time, sort of. So that's why, getting back to what I mentioned in an earlier video, this demonic imp has been showing up. Just to give you a quick recap, I'm giving my feelings permission to be there. And some of them for the very first time. And that's where I saw this demonic imp appear in my imagination as this child part of myself that I've exiled. So I mentioned that I was inviting this demonic imp to be with me, to give it my attention, to see what would happen. And it is really interesting because I sat and I actually visually thought about that. Like, here's this demonic imp and I'm taking it in my arms. And this, let me just tell you about the affect of this imp. Angry, vampire teeth, biting, violent. I recognized in that feeling that this part of myself was expressing. I recognized it. I recognized it in times in my life where I have acted out self-destructively, made decisions and things like, oh, well, you're not worth anything, so why does it bother? You might as well, kind of actions that hurt myself and others. That was that demonic imp part acting out, finding a way to get my attention. And so I invited it consciously and imagined that it was like this child, this demonic child throwing a fit in my arms, and just let it be there and throw a fit, and not needing to change it, not needing to tell it to stop. And it's changing. I won't say it's cute, But in my imagination, it settled down. And I didn't try to make that happen. It just has. Of course, I've also noticed some other children that... This makes me sound so crazy, right? But I've also noticed some other children coming forth and saying, hey, what about me? What about me? One of them kind of was like serpentine and also like not particularly nice. Another one looked like a ghost, like it was dead. This one's still pretty far away, so I think this is one that I'm a little more reluctant to get in touch with. Anyway, all this is part of the presence process. And what is this doing for me? It is really helping me reflect on and just accept myself and accept where I am right now. And for me, that is really showing up powerfully, is being honest with myself and being honest with the world, being honest with you, letting you see where I'm at and admitting that, yeah, I'm scared about this. Yep, I'm nervous. Yep, I have a part of me that has harbored self-loathing for a long time. And I think that maybe by sharing that, maybe it'll help you do the same or help someone do the same. I had a really good insight the other day, and I was actually in a coaching mastermind asking for help with a sales letter of all things. It was very practical. And in this sales letter, there was a part of the sales letter where I was teaching something. There was content in there. And the advisors who were helping me said, oh, I think you're teaching, you're really getting into teaching here. You're giving away too much. And for some reason, in that moment, those words struck me. And this is something I've thought about myself before, and my husband has told me this, and my very good friend has told me this. And I thought, but I felt for the first time, Stephanie, you're giving yourself away. Because I've had this need to over-deliver and just pile it on and go above and beyond to prove myself. And I was realizing that I was doing this in that sales letter because I had to give more. And it reminded me of something I read in the presence process, where it talked about how we try to escape those charged emotions from the past that we have not integrated. How I think the way he puts it is we try to sedate or control. Now, there are so many ways we could do this, right? Drugs, alcohol, sex, work, family lives, sleep, television, you name it. Music, anything can be an escape, depending on how you use it. And one of the insidious ones that he talked about was that sometimes we escape having to acknowledge what we're going through, something we don't want to feel or experience, by helping other people. And it's true that if you're feeling bad, if I'm feeling bad, the best thing I can do is do something nice for somebody else. Immediately I'm feeling better. And that's wonderful, and that's a beautiful thing. And I love having that as a tool to change my state. But what happens when I'm avoiding the reality of something in my life by needing to help people to prove something? So it's not that helping people is bad. Obviously, I love helping people. I will always love helping people. But when it comes from a place of having to prove something, it's not serving me, and it's not serving the people that I'm trying to help. And so that was a hard realization, and again, something that I've been told before by people who know me and love me, like Stephanie. And now I'm asking myself, all right, I'm going to catch myself doing this now. I started saying no a little more often, allowing myself to say no. I don't have to give myself away. I don't have to say yes every time someone asks me to do something. So I'm working with this right now, right in this very moment. So you get to witness it, and I'm fessing up to you so that I have to acknowledge this. And it's not an easy thing to figure out. The new question that I'm living with is, what would it be like to show up powerfully in all these areas of my life? And powerfully to me means acknowledging everything that's going on with me, even the things that I don't want to see and I don't like, the shadow side, the things I'm pushing away or the things that I'm avoiding, letting them be there too. That's powerful. It doesn't mean I need to tell everyone about it all the time, although I might. But it does mean that I'm okay with it. And I'm not beating myself up about it, and I'm still standing in my power. I'm still standing as the biggest version of myself that I can. And so in particular, in these conversations, that's what I'm asking myself. What does it mean to show up powerfully? What does it mean to show up powerfully in a conversation? Sometimes that means silence. Sometimes that means asking hard questions. Sometimes that means not saying anything at all. What does it mean in my business to show up powerfully? In a webinar, in a video? It means to be authentic. It means to be real about what I'm going through. And to be true. And to not buy somebody else's bullshit. Because I'll tell you something, and this has been with me all my life. I have avoided conflict. I have listened to people, talked to people, and I want to believe them. I want to believe them. My mother called me naive, and in a way she was very true. I have been incredibly trusting. Even when my gut was telling me that they were BSing me or BSing themselves. And so for me, I think sometimes showing up powerfully means I'm going to say, you know what? I'm not so sure about that. To honor that in me might mean questioning somebody and saying, is that really what's going on? Do you really mean no? Or do you really mean yes? And having the courage to do that and knowing that the person I'm talking to is probably not going to like it very much. Who likes to be challenged? Sometimes we do, but mostly we want somebody to agree with us. I know I do. I don't like it when my advisors tell me that I've done something poorly, especially when I know it's true, and I've been lazy about something, especially when I don't like to think of myself as lazy, but I appreciate it at the same time. And that's being powerful. That's standing up powerfully. That's showing up powerfully in my life. And so all of this is what I'm doing. And I guess the question I have for you is, where do you escape? What are you avoiding? What are you not wanting to see that you really need to see right now in order to get to that next place, in order to not even get anywhere, but to just love yourself a little more, to be happier, to say yes to something you really want to say yes to say no to something that you're ready to let go of? And what does showing up powerfully mean for you?